Here we go.
Амар минь дөө.
Бэлэн байна.
So we have the first game between Shootin Teutons and Hope Valley Ultras. The first game, or at least the first game I'm casting, is on Arabia. And let's just get at it and start talking about the civilizations. We seem to have at least one mirror pick on our hands here, which let's start with Longhander here in the pocket position, playing as Pocket Huns. Absolutely a great pocket civ. They never need to build houses, so you have an easy time flooding units, and their stables work 20% faster as well as a team bonus can come in very handy as the games progress. And yeah, Huns have great cavalry archers as well. They have a bit of a more awkward time walling because they can't use houses for wall foundations or quick walls, but looking at the openness of this map, Longhander will probably have to be on the aggressive side anyway to see it that way. Yeah, they'll need to use palisades or gates or whatnot to wall, or even production buildings like stables and barracks work as well. So that's a bit of a setback for Huns on an open map like this in a team game. In a normal 1v1 game, you'd just go on the aggressive as Huns and make use of that mobility and never needing to build houses, but in a team game, you'll have to rely on palisade walls, maybe even stone walls to be on the extra secure side. Huns fully upgraded paladins as far as I know. And they are also, yeah, the blacksmith, they're only missing the last armor, otherwise they have all the upgrades needed for heavy cavalry in the Imperial Age, something that we could be seeing into the play if it's convenient. Now for the left hand side we have Dr. Acula or Dracula here for Shootin Teutons with the Britons, pretty much a go-to flank civilization for team games. Britain's archer ranges work faster, and their archers in the Castle and Imperial Ages will get extra range. So they have +1 range in the Castle Age and another +1 in the Imperial Age, in addition to a unique technology, EA Omen, getting their foot archers another range. So the Britons Arbalest with full upgrades in the Imperial Age are actually looking at 5+6 range, which can be exploited in terms of microing down enemy siege, for example, say onagers. They are outranged by Britain's archery line units. And on the right hand side we have Venison here with the Chinese. Also, as is commonly seen on flank, they do start with some extra villagers, but Venison seems to have almost been caught up here by the others, must have had some extra idle time. Chinese very dependent upon finding their food sources early and get to them because they start with 0 food. And they get pop-capped from, or they could quickly get pop-capped if you forget to build the houses as well. But the TC supports 10 population, so you won't get immediately housed for Chinese even though you start with 6 villagers. You usually get loom straight away, as we can see that Venison is getting here, and then you start collecting food and force drop to make sure you can keep consistent villager production, which is the case for all of the players here. Chinese likely to go straight archers here, as opposed to Britons who could go militia, rush, or men at arms. And Chinese will not do that because they start with just a moment. They start with less resources overall. They start with -50 wood as well, so you'll need to collect more wood before you can justify dropping the barracks. You usually don't see Chinese going for infantry line aggression, but they, with the extra few villagers, they have a great economy, not needing to build those 3 villagers. So could absolutely justify a straight archers build for Chinese on flank. So for Venison's opponent on the right hand side here, we have Da Publer with Ethiopians here. So he's going to have the faster firing archers to deal with the Chinese forward. We'll also have an eco boost going up through the ages with 100 food and 100 gold instantly in his bank upon reaching the next age. That usually facilitates an infantry opening like men at arms if they want to go for that. We see 20 population now. Looks like this villager might want to drop a barracks. No, it's mainly walling. So wall of straight archers for the Ethiopians player as well, maybe. Most certainly going to go archers though. Late game Ethiopians could go for their unique technology for siege as well. The torsion engines. But that's something for the late game. Their go-to play is definitely their faster firing archers. In the pocket position we have Barrel Master 3000. He's had some great showings from the pocket position before. Pretty darn solid pocket. They're laughing. Yeah, it's a scouts fight here, and the Publer seems to be losing this one for sure. I think I remember HVU from AOE Cup. Yeah, there are certainly quite a few teams from AOE Cup represented here, including my own badly timed Gimli. So we did play a 1-1 today, so I'm happy with that. Here comes the barracks for the Publer on 62%. That's going to complete just in time for Feud Late to kick in, which is good news. You can drop the ranges right away. But I was talking about the Barrel Master 3000 here on a Lombardia game with for HVU here. Barrel Master had a blast playing from the pocket position, so he's absolutely a solid pocket player here. Goes for the Lithuanians, one of the stronger pocket civilizations. They have some of the strongest paladins in the game, simply because they are getting the attack bonus from collecting relics. And the relics arguably less of a fighting for on Arabia than on Arena, as we saw earlier in the 4th division, so we might see the Teutons making good use of those relics here if their scouting is on point. Finally, for the left hand side we have Chinese for Schwinbutz as well, going with 5 to gold now, probably preparing for a double range straight archers here. No infantry forward from either side here, so all the flanks seem to be going for the straight archers for this one. So a bit of a slower paced game than we've seen earlier in Arabia. Double ranges for Ethiopians, likely to be double ranges for Chinese here as well. I'm assuming this guy wants to drop a range at some point. Let's look at their eco if it's doable. Not just yet. So Venison here with 1 range for the archers, and the Publer with double ranges. Considering that the Ethiopians has faster firing archers as well, this should be looking very good for the Publer. The Publer, however, not fully walled in the back, so if Longhander somehow finds an opening here, that could be disastrous for the Publer here. Now walling in towards the TC to limit aggression and damage here. And as mentioned, of course, here comes the second range for Venison. He didn't scout it yet, but is obviously going to see the ranges of the enemy now. Double ranges, and there's an opening. He really should tell Longhander about that, so Longhander can send the scouts in ASAP and deal some serious damage here. Gap has been plugged, but Venison gathers some important intel here, and will probably be ganging up with the Longhander for a 2v1 on the flank here now, as the army production is rolling. Barrelmaster with 3 military, Longhander with 6, so Longhander absolutely benefiting from the Huns not needing houses and faster working stables here. The Purler found a way in here as well, though, before the full walls were up, and there's still a hole! Oh, okay, Venison is going to attend to that, so that's a good spot by Venison there, probably seeing the scout running back out, and oops, I need to plug that ASAP. All of these guys are making their own little hideouts here, and we haven't even seen a battle engagement just yet. Longhander with 3 to 1 KD though, so he has gotten some value of his initial army in the scouts here. There we go, he found the opening. So, as mentioned, Publer with a very open generation here, as is the case for more of the players, but not succeeding to full wall in time. I think Longhander should extend the scout rushes here and try and be even more annoying. just make use of your army as long as you know it's open, and you can be looking at some very efficient damage potential. Swim boots on the forward on the other side here, and with the 11 archers and the scout moving in here, we'll probably be trying to break through. Dracula has the archers as well, but is outnumbered. However, he does have some skirmishers in the mix. So we have 11 against 11 here, some skirms in the mix, but lacking all the upgrade here for now for Dracula. So that could be tough against the Chinese forward here with archers with fleshing. Longhander out of position here, and will be running into Daphobler's army here, trying to take some... I don't think he even meant to take that engagement, I think that was just a click mistake. Going to gather up with Venison here, hopefully, and try and contest the Ethiopians' army. Venison with 17 military, Daphobler only with 11, so in terms of sheer numbers here, Longhander and Venison have the upper hand for sure, but they need to keep their armies collected for this to work out. Dracula, unfortunately, lacking the upgrades, takes some not so favorable engagements here, and falls victim to Schwimbut's forward here. Dracula only 3 military now and has to weather off the storm here in terms of Schwimbut's archers forward. I love the defensive tower, this just protects both the farms and the golds here. Great defensive tower, and it's going to go up in time, even if it means a lot of builders idled to get it up. But now we have a point to fall back to for your archers, the only setback being Dracula. Now only has 75 stone, and his extended economy in the Castle Age will be affected, as he won't be able to afford 2 new TCs right away. Some coordinated efforts on the right hand side here between Dracula and Longhander. Still open in the south here for Daphobler, so let's have a look at Green's scouting here, at Longhander's scouting, and see what's up here. Hitting with oh, there's an overchop. This is nightmare for Daphobler now. We'll need to bring all the army back, obviously, and have to deal with a solid Chinese and Huns forward here from Venison and Longhander. So far, Venison and Longhander have barely been touched at home. They have been on the offensive, which is just great news for Huns having time to wall off and get the eco rolling. Castle Age is in for Longhander as well. Has probably been for a little while, so the knights will be coming onto the field as well soon enough. Looks like they want to back towards the hill here, which is a good call, but the faster firing Ethiopian archers doing serious work here, and overall numbers now 18 against 14, 19 to 14 for Venison here. Not to mention that Barrelmaster has a knight on the field, just a few more knights from Barrelmaster here, and these archers of Venison are history. Venison comes out of that fight pretty decent actually, and brings the last few of the archers home to gather up with his existing army to take the hill here together with Longhander's knights here. We have Schwimbutz in the Castle Age as well, though, with Dracula not up yet and didn't even click, so that is bad news for Dracula. We'll need to pull back home and salvage what he can of the archers' numbers here. Definitely falling behind in numbers here to Schwimbutz, I'd say. Or maybe not, actually, because Dracula is Britons and has the faster working ranges. See the numbers, third range going up for the Britons now. Still only 2 for Schwimbutz here going into triple TCs. Going into 3 TCs right away is also not... Sorry, it's 2 TCs and a university, I was so wrong, but adding extra TCs is generally not too common from the flank position when playing the archers. You want to save what wood you can for consistent army production and really get your archers mass going. So you'll able to contest groups of +2 knights and get the upper hand over the enemy. However, Dracula still in the feudal age. It's going to be tough for Dracula to hold this up on his own here. No relics collected yet for Battlemaster, but the collected army looking rather scary here with 37, and Dracula risks losing all of the army here before reaching Castle Age. Will probably benefit from pulling the army away and waiting for Castle Age and the upgrades to kick in, if possible. Some house walls behind or something maybe to keep the crossbows and knights out here, but instead Dracula chooses to take the fight, and it's it should be a horrible fight for Dracula here. Knights running in, look at the army numbers, 23, diminishing. This is not good. It's going to lose all of the army here just around the corner of Castle Age and be left with 0 army to upgrade. That's an engagement you just never want to take. It's a fight you can't take anyway, but with enough knights from Longhander, maybe they could have taken a decent fight after all, but you are fighting Chinese fully upgraded Castle Age crossbows with your feudal age archers and skirmishers. Maybe Dracula expected his feudal age skirmishers to do better in this fight, but that was a horrible engagement to watch, unfortunately. Shrimpboots and Barrelmaster taking the hill here now. That's also a really bad hill for Dracula to have so close to their base. One castle on this hill and there's a perfect fallback point for Shrimpboots' armies to hide, and it would also deny this stone. We have some decent forward from Hill Valley, Hope Valley Ultras. I keep saying Hill Valley, I mean Hope Valley Ultras on the right hand side as well. Another really bad hill here from Venison, close to the stone here. Stone isn't crucial at this part in the game, but looks like Venison wants to drop a castle at some point here to secure some map control here. Chinese versus Ethiopians. Ethiopians outnumbering maybe, not really. We have 51 versus 38 here, so Venison could take a favorable fight here. Looking at Dracula's side, red and yellow should really just run in here now and deal as much damage as they can with their mobility and archers, because they didn't really pick off too many villagers from Dracula after all. They picked off all the military. That means that Dracula can't hold the defenses here on their own. Just get that forward siege workshop up here for Shrimpboots and start pushing the Britain's player here, because if you can take one flank out of the game or punish them severely here, then you'll force a reaction from Longhander and he will not be able to engage on pocket like he's doing now. Barrelmaster has the numbers here though, doesn't have any attack upgrades or relics, so I think that's a bit of a mistake by the Lithuanian player not to rush the relics, or in the other case get the upgrades, because now he's fighting, granted he's fighting lower numbers, almost twice the numbers, so he can win due to sheer numbers here, but just go get that +1 attack upgrade or grab some relics, because that's just not playing into Lithuanian strength, not going for the relics. Of course you want to get the boom going as well. The monster is up, and as I speak of the relics, the first relic is being brought in here. Shrimpboots and Barrelmaster seem rather indecisive here though. Maybe they're thinking that they need to help out on that Puebler side, but what they could be doing now, if the Puebler is communicating with them, is to say that Longhander and Venison are forward. He should not be having any military at all at home, so you could go hit pocket. And Longhander breaks in, and this is a serious mass of Hans Knights here, which the Puebler has no chance whatsoever to fight off here. Almost no army at all for the Puebler. Ethiopians get instant free pikemen, but you need serious masses to deal with these knights anyway. We have probably 30 knights here, 25 knights. Lots of villagers dead for the Puebler now. Look at all the idle time and the villagers falling like flies here. While Dracula has stabilized at home actually and will be providing from the other side soon enough. Meanwhile, we have Benson going for the other archers player, I think. Oh! Look at all the villagers! Benson! A little bit further to the left. It's not going to see that TC going up, unfortunately, but this could have been 16 free kills for Venison. He wants to hit the pocket though, and I think that's a good call. Looking at the overall villager numbers here, it's a great spot for Shootin Teutons here. They've made quick work of that Puebler here, taking him down to 39 villagers, still 18 idle and only 1 military. This has to be Shootin Teutons' game. Unless something critical happens. Baroness 3000 on the way to the Imperial Age though, as well as Venison here. So we'll be looking at quite a chunk of Chinese arbalists here. What's been happening with the stone? I don't see a castle anywhere, so... here we go. Good castle from Venison here. It's on the hill, it's going to deny stone, and it's going to deny golds over here. Pulls away the crossbows as well. This was would be a worthwhile fight to take though, with 50 crossbows against 30 something. Lithuanians have +2 attack now, same as the Hun's Knights, so Longhander could actually consider taking a fight as well as soon as they have collected their armies here. We're looking at the pockets now, numbers 54 for Longhander, 34 for Baronmaster, 75 for Venison, and just 1 for his Ethiopians opposing flank here. There's no way that the Puebler denies this castle, and the Puebler will be forced to flee and try and find some neutral resources here. You'd think those were almost Saracen archers, because that stable went down suspiciously quick. I think they're making the right call now and trying to take out some production. Longhander could certainly take out these stables quickly enough, and given that these are the only stables, except from this one over here, then Baronmaster wouldn't be able to replenish. We have Imperial Age in for Venison as well, meaning that Arvarez should be right around the corner, maybe even Bracer, but the coordination isn't 100% here. It should still be Venison's fight to win though, because Alvarez just kicked in. We're no Bracer, but still you have more damage output. You have 6+2 attack now, and Barrel Master 3000 loses virtually all of the knights here. Just after reaching Imperial Age, a fantastic fight for Shootin Teutons here. They are obliterating the numbers of both Baron Lester and earlier on the Puebler here, so putting himself in a great spot here. Schwinbert still with 74 military though, but having both of the other teammates losing all of their armies, that's not a pretty sight, and the crossbows are about to go down just before Imperial Age kicks in for Schwinbert. That's most certainly a GG moment and a 1-0 for Shootin Teutons. So let me bring up the stats here, and we'll be doing the second game of this set as well. Venison, arguably man of the match here, ends with the top score, and solid archers play and pushing with the Chinese there. All the players, or the archers players, going straight archers this game. I haven't seen that in a while, but certainly worked out, and this KD is just off the charts here. It's 123 kill and only 46 losses, largest army as well. Great play from the Chinese Civ player Venison here. A Longhander with the most food, unsurprisingly so, being the pocket Civ player with going for the Cavalry approach here, solid fuel age as well, did beat even the Lithuanians here with the Huns, and overall boom better than Barrel Master as well. Now you can see the tab here with the army numbers just increasing and diminishing for the respective teams here as well. Great fights taken by Shootin' Teutons.